guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Okay guys, I'm back and it is January 11th, Friday, and it's 7:34 p.m. And do you know what's better than that? We've got Q posts. So, it's Friday and it's Q day. So, nothing gets better than that except cats. Cats are better than that. And I did want to just show you some quick pictures because I have spoken about the destruction that my tiny little creature has wrought. And here is one of my shoes. One of 6 shoes that now looks like this. Yeah, lovely. And this is what greets me every morning. Now, this is not as bad as usual. Usually it's like strung everywhere, like in my bed, everywhere, and like little teeny tiny pieces. I mean, at least he left me some toilet paper on this particular morning. Yeah. And here is a picture of the little guy. I know he looks innocuous, but don't let him fool you. I think I've got the anti-cat. You know, you've heard of the Antichrist? I think I have the anti-cat. Anyway, and just because I didn't want to leave her out, this is Picasso. Now, she is my other 21-year-old cat. She is going on 22 years old, and so far, she's in great health. So I'm hoping that she stays with me a little bit longer because I'm not ready to lose her yet. Anyway, let's get out of here and let's get to Q, because I know that's what you're here for. And you're like, what is this with all the cats? Like, I don't like cats. Well, you're on the wrong channel. Seriously. There's a lot of Q channels that will just cover Q with no cats, but this channel has cats. Anyway, let's get right into Q, shall we? And the first one is something that looks familiar to us, should anyway, because on October 9th, he posted the exact same thing with the 4 booms staggered like this. And somebody else has pointed out, and I do see that if you look at this and read up this way, B-O-O-M, there's actually 5 booms. I don't know if that is intentional or not, but there is, and Q is telling us there's going to be 4 booms, but way back in October 9th, he said the same thing. And what was he referring to then? He was referring to Rod Rosenstein. Remember when there was that whole kerfluffle about him saying that he was going to wear a wire in to secretly record Trump, and he said he was joking, but he was not joking. And that is the link that Q referred to in this post back in October. Now, Q did not put this post in here. I just put it in there because it reminded me of this post in October with the 4 booms staggered. And back then, it had to do with Rod Rosenstein. Now, I'm not sure if what this has to do with, and I don't think anybody does at this point. It would be conjecture, pure conjecture. I feel like I have peanuts in my teeth because I've already recorded this once and I'm recording it again because my cat would not shut up and I had a coughing fit. So I thought, you know, one thing you can put up with, but coughing and cats, no. So when I took a break, I had peanuts. That's what I was getting to. All right. Hopefully we'll get through this. Now, here is the next one. And here is the post in context here, but I have pulled that picture out and made it a little bit bigger for us because otherwise you guys on your phones will have no hope of seeing it. And it says, awaiting VIP arrival. What senior U.S. official is arriving in China? Purpose? Q. Now again, I don't know. I don't know who is supposedly arriving in China. I have been looking for hours through different things trying to find out who it is. I don't know. The purpose, I would assume that it has something to do with trade, since that is what is pertinent in terms of China right now, but I don't know. So again, we are kind of at an impasse here. Now let's look at the picture. Let me make it a little bit bigger. And I'm not exactly sure who Q is alluding to in this picture. Now to me, the two people that seem most prominent is this person, who I would tend to think is the person of interest, in a white coat, long black hair, black boots. And this person also, is prominent in the photo, but I don't think that we would have any idea who that is or why they're there. I would assume that it's this person, but I don't know. But Q is telling us that they have just arrived in China and they have some sort of purpose there, obviously. And he's asking us purpose, but again, there's not enough information to go on. And I've combed through news sources and I can't find anything in the news that would kind of tweak, understanding. So let's go on and we will get to this eventually. It's up here. Now, this is the post in its proper context, and it is about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And down here, and I don't think it's necessary for me to go through and read all of this again, because we just saw this on the 6th of January, which was Sunday. And we read through all these things about Ruth Bader Ginsburg, like why was she selected, blah, 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 all the things that she stood for. And that is what Q is alluding to here, is that post from the 6th. And he's asking us a question. He's saying, at what point is it mathematically impossible? What's he talking about? Well, this was posted Sunday, January 6th. January 7th, Ruth Bader Ginsburg did not show up to her job at the Supreme Court. She was out for 3 days. Now, they're saying that she is healthy, no sign of cancer, that she will be back to work. But how did Q know? How did Q know Sunday that she wasn't going to be at work on Monday? He's saying, at what point is it mathematically impossible? And he's saying public access to intel. Does the public have access to that sort of intel? No. We didn't know. We didn't know she wasn't going to show up. Nobody in the Anon community knew. So no, it's not public access to intel. The public does not have access to that intel. And he's telling us, how many of these things do I have to point out here to you guys before it's mathematically impossible? And it's not so much for us guys that have been following him for a year. It's more for the new people that are joining in, because there's constantly new people joining in and they don't know of all the hundreds of proofs that have gone before. So I think that that's why he keeps dropping proofs, and as well, it keeps us on track as well. But this is where I differ with a lot of people that have decoded this, because I was on Twitter and I looked at some things that people were saying about this particular post, and I disagree. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm going to tell you how I interpret this. First of all, he's saying, look, you know what? The 6th, I was talking about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. The next day, she doesn't show up for work. All right? That's not public. That's not public access. The public does not have access to that intel. Right. Then, and he's saying the very next day, which is right, the very next day she didn't show up at work. Now, people are including this red castle, green castle in the Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I don't read it that way at all. That's not how I read it. I read it as him saying, look, I told you about Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the 6th, the 7th, she didn't show up for work. Now, I'm telling you that the army is going to build the wall. Red castle, green castle. Q. And that's how I read this. Now, I've seen people, they added words in there to make it the an acronym come out, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, but that's really, really like pushing it, I think. I just don't read that. I think that he's saying, look, the same way I predicted Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I'm telling you, the Army Corps of Engineers is going to build the wall. That's what I get from this. That's exactly what I get from this. All right, let's move on. And Q says, if a woman is selected as the nominee, does that eliminate the wrap-up smear regarding sexual assault? Which is exactly what they did with Kavanaugh, right? They're the ones that plant it, and then they point to it and say, oh, look, yeah, but look what he did. And, remember Pelosi explaining how the wrap-up smear works and smiling like she did a little doo-doo in the toilet? That she's got that look. And seriously, it's this look that comes on her face like, I said something clever. But really, it's not that clever, Anyway, so Q's saying, well, the sexual assault isn't likely to work with a female candidate, so what are they going to use? Well, I think they'll come up with something. They'll probably say she's too loose, she drinks too much. Who knows? They're going to find something to smear her with. They will definitely find something. And if they don't have anything, they'll just make it up like they did with Kavanaugh, because they know that it doesn't have to be true. It doesn't even have to be believable. If the mainstream media says it, most people are going to believe it. And we've proven that to be so. So, yeah, they'll just make something up. And why is the Senate important? Well, the Senate was very important because, number one, I mean, even in terms of them wanting to impeach him, it's like, they would have needed 3/4 of the Senate. Well, they're never going to get that now. Never. But there's a lot of reasons why the Senate's important, and I'm not going to go and list them all. Anyway, and then he asked, who controls the Senate? 53 to 47, and obviously that's the Republicans are in charge of the Senate now. Enjoy the show, Q. So Q is already telling us that, it's a done deal. I really do believe that he's going ahead and asking about the nominee and all this. If a woman is selected, well, he obviously knows that Ruth Bader Ginsburg is on her way out. And I think she even said she was going to be stepping down, if I'm not mistaken. Now, there's so much that happens on a daily basis. I tend to lose track of stuff because there's so much happening and so many names involved on a daily basis that it is mind-blowing. But seems to me I remember that. All right. Now, this I pulled from November 20th. Now, why? I saw this on somebody's Twitter and I thought it was very interesting. I pulled this post from November 20th. That is where, by the way, this last post that we just looked at is where Q left off, unless he has posted more. And if he has posted more, I will come back and bring those to you as well. But this is a post stuck in there from November 20th. And it's interesting because look at this picture. Let me make it bigger for you tiny, tiny phone people. Well, you're not tiny phone people. You're not tiny people with phones. You're people with tiny phones. I don't know. All right, so Sean Hannity and President Trump at the border, and they both have, and you may not be able to see it in this picture very well, but right here is a Band-Aid on President Trump, and right here is a Band-Aid on Sean Hannity. Okay, so what? I know you're saying, so what? And I would too, normally. I would say, well, that's a coincidence. They might have been gardening. Well, probably not, but when we look at this, it says, December 5th, D5, nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing. This election was not about fixing the economy, trade, borders, military, protecting our children, etc. Also, another corrupt politician or insider can simply undo it. Band-aid. This was not simply another 4-year election, but a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we, the people, reclaim control over our government. Now, these guys know how carefully the anons and, dweeby people like me comb through these pictures. They know that. So, is this a sign? Was this a sign to kind of go back to that Band-Aid? I don't know. What do you guys think? Nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing. And he's saying, they're not into Band-Aid solutions. They want to fix the problem. They want to fix the border. And below, he has said, Red Castle, Green Castle. Well, we know that is in conjunction with the Army Corps of Engineers. It sure the heck doesn't have anything to do with Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Just saying. So there you are. That's it for tonight. I'm probably going to be back with some Q-related news. But that's it for the Q post. If he does post more, I will bring those to you. And other than that, it's been a short video for a change. So I hope you guys have a great night. Hope you sleep well, stay safe, and I'll talk to you real soon.